That's right. Picking the best 10 films of the year is an annual tradition for movie critics, and Sneak Previews is no exception. I'll be naming my personal favorites of 1979, and so will my fellow film critic Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And this is Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, I don't know about you, Roger, but wasn't it easy this year picking the 10 best?
Fairly easy, yeah, compared to some years in the past.
There weren't that many good films around. We see maybe 200 each year, but there aren't that many great ones, so picking 10 really isn't that hard, especially in an off year like 79 was. Anyway, here we go with our top 10 lists. And later, Spot the Wonder Dog will be here for our much-awaited feature, Dogs of the Year, the worst films of the year. Now Roger stars with a favorite good film of mine, Breaking Away.
Right. My choice for last year's second best film is Breaking Away, a bittersweet comedy about 4 high school graduates coming of age in Bloomington, Indiana. And one of them, played by Dennis Christopher, was so determined to become a European world-class bicycle racer that he even started talking and behaving like an Italian. Look what happens when he finds out that the Italian bike racing champions are actually coming to Indiana. Such a great, warm, upbeat feeling there. Breaking Away did a wonderful job of capturing the yearnings and ambitions the young people feel when they're out of high school and ready to take chances in the real world. And you know, Gene, I don't think I saw a single negative review on this film or talked to a single person who had seen it and didn't like it. That's extraordinary.
On this show, we offered, if you remember, that we would pay the admission of anybody who didn't like it.
That's right.
We got one letter.
That's right. Did we send him $4?
I think so. I thought you were going to send them money.
I thought you had the check made out.
No, I think that it is. It's a remarkable film that everyone seemed to like. And I like it more than just for that bicycle race at the end, a classic finish of the little guys beating the bad guys. I like it for its portrait of middle America, for being not pandering to some sweet notion of the working class, but really getting in there and feeling a true feeling for middle America. And I liked it an awful lot. I think it's on my list, too, as one of the 10 best. My second favorite movie of the year appeared at the end of the year. It was Kramer versus Kramer. It starred Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep as a divorcing New York couple involved in a child custody battle. Now, the special power of Kramer versus Kramer, I think, came from its attention to detail. Listen to the intensely accurate details, the things Meryl Streep is leaving behind as she informs Dustin Hoffman for the first time that she wants a divorce. He hasn't been paying too much attention to her lately. I love the way Hoffman smiles there at the end, trying to wash away the obvious distance between them with just a smile. It doesn't work, of course. This is, I think, the best acted film of the year. Both Hoffman and Streep are talented actors who really disappear into their characters. They're not big stars in that way. In other words, we always see their emotions, not the actors. A very intelligent, moving, thoroughly contemporary film. It's a big hit at Christmas time. A serious picture. They didn't think it would be such a big hit.
I'm in complete agreement. It's also on my best 10 list. Thinking back on it, the thing that I really like the most about it is that rapport between Dustin Hoffman and the little kid, Justin Henry.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of films with child actors in them before, but never one where you have this real feeling that it's really happening as you're watching it. It's unstudied, it's unrehearsed, it's natural, and it really gets you involved.
I had one other thought, which was that I had wished that people weren't so enthusiastic about the film for this reason.
Why is that?
It shouldn't be that unusual a picture, because all it is straightforward talk about a very common problem. Marriage-child custody fight happens all the time. The film is a revelation, though, because the American film industry is making such ridiculous teenage dumb pictures with rocket ships all the time, so that people run to something that seems adult and natural. And I just wish the day would come in the industry when this picture would be thought of as good, but not exceptional.
I thought at the time when it came out, because we both liked it a lot, but some of the articles, like in Time magazine, they went on as if this picture was the greatest picture in the last 25 years, and it shouldn't be that way. You're right. Okay. We should get a lot more like that. And we got one, in my opinion, from Germany last year. Another one of the best films of 1979, The Marriage of Maria Braun, a biographical drama by one of the most original and intriguing directors in the world today, Rainer Werner Fassbinder of West Germany. The movie is about a German war bride who gets married in the last days of World War II. She loses her husband, and then, after the war, she fights her way up the ladder to wealth and success by using every trick in the book. Here's Maria early in the film, gate-crashing her way into the first-class compartment of a train, and then successfully intriguing a rich industrialist. That was Hanna Schagula, who just might get an Academy Award nomination for that performance. The Marriage of Maria Braun was a bitter movie in which Maria succeeded by being very intelligent, very pretty, and very cynical, especially about men. And one of the things I like about this film, in addition to the fact that I think it's a very good film, is that it's the first box office hit at the American box office for Rainer Werner Fassbinder, who's an extraordinary director. He's 36 years old. He's made more than 36 movies. I think maybe the American public is accustomed to seeing French films, Italian films, Swedish films. Here's a German breakthrough.
And the German cinema is very strong, as represented by our lists. We both have 2 German films.
Yeah, the same 2 films.
And those are the only foreign films on our list. I like the picture, too, and what I admire about it is this is one of those great sagas. It's sort of a Gone with the Wind scale picture in a way. I mean, it's a lot of time, post-war Germany, probably a dozen years maybe, and it's flawless. I mean, it totally recreates the world. We get caught up in this woman's saga. We follow her. Even in that sequence, you can see it's just two people talking on the train, but you can see the power of her imposing herself on this rich man and how she gets her way.
I think you can say, too, that this performance by Hanna Schigula, and we've seen her before in German films, is extraordinary. I think that she is probably the best actress to come out of Europe since Liv Ullmann in 1966.
Strong praise. Woody Allen's latest film, Manhattan, also made my 10 best list. Allen salutes the physical aspects of Manhattan in this picture, but I think he criticizes the upscale, trendy people who live there, people like himself, who Allen thinks invent all sorts of trivial problems to avoid dealing with big life and death issues. Now, in this scene, Allen battles with his ex-wife Meryl Streep over a tell-all book she's writing about their marriage that you can't imagine anyone would want to read. The film was made in black and white. Woody Allen, who has made psychological torment a laughing matter. Allen really came of age as a filmmaker in the 70s. His movies have a remarkable technical polish, and they contain the brightest dialogue of almost any filmmaker working today. I really liked Manhattan.
Okay, so I'm in agreement with almost everything you said, and this movie is almost on my best 10 list. I would say it would be about 11 or 12.
What kept it off?
It wasn't quite as good as Annie Hall, which is one thing, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is it's about a relationship between Woody Allen and Mariel Hemingway, a young girl who we didn't see in that clip. She's in high school. She's about 17 or 18. And I personally don't believe that Woody Allen ever made up his mind about what he thought as a director about that relationship. So the end of the movie for me was just a little bit hollow.
And I figured it out, what he thought.
Good for you. Yeah.
Okay, and what I thought he thought was that this girl had more answers than the 40-year-old Woody Allen character who seemed to be preoccupied with strange stuff. This girl was direct, honest, caring, and Woody Allen literally runs to her. The Woody Allen character literally runs to her at the end of the picture. I thought it was very direct, very obvious.
I'm not sure I like his reasons for running to her, but I'll agree with you. It's a good film. It belongs in my top 15, okay? And this is my choice now for the year's best movie, my number one film in 1979. Now, this didn't even make your top 10 list.
Right. And
I think you missed the boat on this one. It's Francis Ford Coppola's Apocalypse Now, a brilliant and ambitious epic film in which the American experience in Vietnam was reflected on a long boat journey upriver into the heart of the jungle. Apocalypse Now starred Martin Sheen as a young Army captain sent on a secret mission to find and destroy a mad Army colonel played by Marlon Brando. And in this scene, Martin Sheen opens his classified instructions as the crew on his boat listens to a top 40 radio station from Saigon. Really a bizarre image there, and a scary one, too, if you think what total disregard that shows for the country that they're in. The juxtaposition of details there was typical of the whole movie. The patrol boat, the Army mission, secret instructions, and then Mick Jagger singing I Can't Get No Satisfaction, and the kid water skiing through enemy territory. What Coppola was trying to do in Apocalypse Now was portray the insanity of the war by showing American culture and all of its artifacts reduced to total impotence by the alien jungle. And Gene, now this is my number one film for 1979. I find it listed nowhere whatsoever on your list.
You're a good reader.
Why is that?
Well, I like the picture, the first maybe two-thirds of it, a lot, for the very reasons that you picked on in that sequence. If we can water ski and splash people as casually as that kid was doing, then why not drop bombs on them, too? I mean, it's just a logical extension. Coppola makes the point well. In the movie, we journey upriver to Marlon Brando. Something special is going to happen because it's 2 hours to get there. I found the last 20 minutes of the picture just lost it. I got to Brando. I found out nothing new. I didn't like the character. I didn't care about what was going on there. It seemed confused to me. I was let down. The film split off into two parts for me.
Well, I could defend Apocalypse Now on the basis of its first 90 minutes. I would put it on my best 10 list. But apart from that, I've defended the whole film on this program twice before. I'll defend what Brando says on what he does. I've seen the film twice. I've listened to the soundtrack a couple of times. Brando's speech at the end of this film does a very good job of explaining exactly why we were in Vietnam and why we didn't win that war. I think it's a very good speech. I would defend it, and I'll stand behind my choice.
I think the first part of the film explains it well enough, and I think the last part adds virtually nothing except confusion. All right? We haven't convinced each other, have we?
We have not, no.
Okay. My choice of the number one film of 1979 may be a bit of a surprise, but only because the movie was not a big hit. Not many people saw it. Those who did, however, I think seem to agree that Hair, the movie version of the 60s stage play, ranks as one of the great musicals ever put on film. Hair is sort of a documentary of the 60s protest movement, the war at home. In one extraordinary image after another, director Milos Forman takes us back to the age of Aquarius when spirits, even the spirits of horses, were liberated. Some very special choreography by Twyla Tharp, even choreography for horses.
I love those horses.
They're great. That young man who was mystified by it all, that guy in the tie, John Savage, playing an Oklahoma farm boy drafted to fight in Vietnam. At the end of the picture, we really care about whether or not he's going to go to war, as Hair becomes a very effective anti-war musical and also, at the same time, a celebration of democracy in action. The reason I picked Hair, though, as the #1 film is rarely have I ever seen a movie where the images are so striking and original. Think about that park sequence. I've never seen anything like it. It's a movie that clearly demonstrates the skill of a director, in this case, Milos Forman. Hair was overlooked by so many people, but it shouldn't have been. I think the public really missed a beautiful film this time.
They really did. This is also on my best 10 list. I think it's a wonderful musical. It's one of the best musicals of the last 10 years. Why they didn't go, I don't know. Maybe they thought it was about the hippie period and they weren't interested.
Yeah.
Maybe they were turned off by the ugliest newspaper ads of the last 10 years. I don't know. Maybe that was it.
I don't know.
This is a great musical. Why do you go to a musical? To see singing, to see dancing, original choreography, great songs, a lot of energy, a lot of cheerfulness. In this case, a serious subject. Hair is still around in some theaters. I say, go see this movie, please.
That's the one. That's the thing I did. I just went to friends and say, go. I don't care whether you like the stage play or not. This is better. This is fresh.
Much better than stage play.
Very good. Okay.
Well, in choosing my best 10 list every year, one of my pleasures, like you singled out Hair, is to single out a couple of films that most other people seem to have overlooked. And my favorite overlooked movie of 1979 was St. Jack, a movie about an American exile in Singapore. The exile is played by Ben Gazzara in what I think is his best performance as a pimp and con man who runs errands for visiting businessmen and hustles a few bucks any way he can. Here he is befriending some young American GIs. Gazzara with a nice sardonic understatement there. I like that. The Gazzara character ain't no saint, but he does have the heart of a saint. And in a way, that's what the movie's all about, how this no-account guy in a sleazy business is able one day to perform one single act of unselfishness and nobility, and how that one act might redeem a lot of the con games he's been pulling all of his life on everybody, including himself. St. Jack is one of the sleepers of 1979, a movie I think people are going to rediscover one of these years with a lot of admiration and pleasure.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm glad you put it on your list. It was real close to making mine. I think it's a good film. I think history will bear you out. It'll be a film that people will see for a long time. What I like about Ben Gazzara's character is that, we get so many lead characters in movies that are flashy guys, punching somebody out or torching a building. He is a worldly wise guy. Garfield would play this character. Bogart would play this character. I love him. He's a level, worldly wise guy.
A weary guy. He's seen it all. He's done it all. He's heard it all. He's cynical about all of it. At the end of the movie, he does one thing that even surprises himself. He gives away $25,000 or throws it away. And
I like the fact that the film gives a nice feeling for Singapore, I guess, where it was.
True,
right?
True, yeah.
Okay. Well, the romantic adventure film Time After Time, like St. Jack, was another fine movie that a lot of people missed. Time After Time had an original and very creative screenplay by Nicholas Meyer. It sure was nice to stumble on something fresh in a movie industry in 1979 that seemed to be so preoccupied with remakes and rip-offs. Time After Time is part romance, part science fiction, imagining what would happen if H.G. Wells, working in the 19th century, had really built a time machine, if Jack the Ripper had used it to escape to modern-day San Francisco, and if Wells had gotten in the machine himself and chased the Ripper across time, and in San Francisco met a modern woman. Here Wells, played by Malcolm McDowell, offers to take the cynical Mary Steenburgen for a ride in his time machine. Amusing and sort of wistful. You want that couple to get together, but they're separated inexorably by a century. Time After Time is a thoroughly original movie. I look forward to seeing any movie now that Nicholas Meyer writes. He also wrote The 7% Solution. He's one of the most creative people in the American film industry today.
I also enjoyed this movie a whole lot. I really have to agree with you in your enjoyment of it. I thought it was romantic, charming, sophisticated, witty, intelligent, great special effects.
Yeah.
But it was just too lightweight to make a best 10 list as far as I'm concerned.
Well, then I agree with 90% of what you said.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's take a look at all 10 of my favorite films of 1979, starting with Apocalypse Now, Francis Ford Coppola's epic drama about Americans in Vietnam. And then came Breaking Away, about high school graduates getting ready to take their chances in the real world. Third was Michael Cimino's The Deer Hunter, about 3 steelworkers who went off to fight the war in Vietnam. Rainer Werner Fassbinder's The Marriage of Maria Braun was another war movie about the reconstruction of post-war West Germany and an ambitious woman who was reconstructed right along with it. Fifth was Hair, an inspired and brilliant musical recalling the age of Aquarius. And then I chose St. Jack, starring Ben Gazzara as an American pimp in Singapore. Seventh was Kramer versus Kramer with Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep as a divorced couple in a child custody fight. Number 8 was the uncommonly intelligent thriller The China Syndrome with Jack Lemmon and Jane Fonda in the story of a nuclear plant meltdown. Ninth was Werner Herzog's Nosferatu, a brilliant and macabre retelling of the legend of Count Dracula. And in 10th place, I chose, inevitably, 10, the Blake Edwards comedy starring Dudley Moore as a man hopelessly in love with a vision of female perfection, played by Bo Derek.
Yeah, somehow I remember her in that picture. Well, we agree, isn't this interesting? We agree on 7 out of 10. Okay, here's my list in order of personal preference. My number one favorite film of 1979 was Hair, a stirring musical of the 60s with striking images provided by director Milos Forman. Number 2, Kramer versus Kramer, all the details right and beautifully acted by Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep. Number 3 on my list is The Deer Hunter, which is on both Roger and my list this year because it didn't open until 1979 in all but 3 cities in the United States, so we consider it a 1979 film. It's a powerhouse drama of the grim realities of the Vietnam War. Number 4, Breaking Away, the year's sunniest film, a sweet slice of middle Americana. Number 5, Woody Allen's provocative and very funny Manhattan. Number 6, The Marriage of Maria Braun, one of 2 German films on my list. Number 7, the other German film, Werner Herzog's Nosferatu, a fresh retelling of the vampire legend, with Klaus Kinski as the creepiest and also the saddest Count Dracula ever on film. Number 8, The Onion Field, a brutal thriller about a real-life 7-year trial of 2 lowlifes accused of murdering a policeman. Number 9, Time After Time, an original and romantic science fiction mystery and thriller. It's got everything. And number 10, The China Syndrome, which was a terrific thriller even before that accident at 3 Mile Island. Well, now we go from the sublime to the awful. It's Spot the Wonder Dog telling us it's time to single out the 2 worst movies of 1979. Yes, finally, the dogs of the year. Roger, go ahead.
Gee, thanks a lot, Gene.
Yeah.
My dog of the year is Hurricane, the multi-million-dollar flop by Dino De Laurentiis. Hurricane was set 50 years ago in the South Pacific, where a young native king and an American girl fell in love under the swaying palm trees. This is one of those movies where the lovers are always reaching out to each other speechlessly because they had nothing to say. Here they are now, Mia Farrow and Dayton Connie, fingertip to fingertip, as Dino's bargain basement sets are swept out to sea. I think I've seen this somewhere before. Hurricane was a dull 90-minute romance followed by a dull 30-minute rainstorm.
I don't know which was worse, the romance or the rainstorm?
The rainstorm,
Oh,
definitely.
you figured that out. Okay. My dog of the year, the worst picture, is Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, an appallingly bad sequel to a pretty dumb movie to begin with. In Beyond the Poseidon Adventure, Michael Caine leads another cast of dodos through another capsized boat. It's amazing how Caine can predict the future in this movie. Oh, he's real smart. Some good news out of this trash. Beyond the Poseidon Adventure was a total bust at the box office, which may signal that the decade of disaster film in the 70s has come to an end. Let's hope so.
One way or another, Gene, the 70s have definitely come to an end, and here come the 80s. And that's it for this special Top 10 show. Next time on Sneak Previews, Gene and I will review 5 new movies in town, and until then, see you at the movies.